Tonight on Kent Hrbek Outdoors. If a kid can do it, why can't a bigger kid? On this edition of KHO, it's Herbie's Excellent Adventure, his first ever venture into the wide, wide world of archery. We've got bows, we've got arrows, and oh dear, do you think we can possibly keep this show on target for a... Is it a bullseye or baloney? Will'em tell all next.
Definition.
And now, here's Kent Hrbek and Eric Gislason.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Kent Hrbek Outdoors. We think we have a great show in store for you again today.
You know, it's been a while since the guy standing next to me has been a rookie at anything, but today he is. A rookie, that is. We think today's show is a real bullseye because you get to come along and see Herbie take his first shot ever at a bow hunt.
Gissy, you're right on target, because today we're heading to beautiful Pepin County, Wisconsin, where I get the full bow hunting treatment. We're talking instruction, target practice, and best of all, hands-on experience.
Hello, Kent.
Dan, right?
You're Dan Ellison. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. It's not that I ever had anything against bow hunting, but I have to admit two things have always scared me a bit about a bow and arrow. One is, this is a time-consuming sport, much more than rifle hunting. And two, getting outfitted and oriented can be intimidating. Let's just say that I needed to get my archery game in A1 shape. And what's your name?
Stuart.
Stuart. All right, Stuart, good to meet you, bud. I hear you're a bow hunter. Turns out Stuart Korn is quite the bow hunter. And get this, he's only 8 years old. There's a future KHO show here, don't you think? And there's a good reason young Stu is right on target for a bright archery career. His dad, Paul Korn, is the co-owner of A1 Archery in Hudson, Wisconsin. He and co-owner Dan Ellison were kind enough to break in the big rook with some big league bow and arrow management. Gonna fit me up with a bow?
That we are going to do today, yep.
And then we're gonna do some practicing with it?
Yep, we're going to get you out in the range, get you shooting with Stuart and some of the other guys.
The first thing you notice about this place is this isn't your typical hunting store. I don't see any guns hanging on the wall.
There's no guns here. This is absolutely 100% pure archery.
Okay.
We're an archery pro shop. That's what we do. We set up thousands of people a year. Our main focus is archery, deer hunting. I mean, we set up people to go to Africa, safaris, all around the world.
Alrighty. Well, let's go to square one. Where's square one? What do we do first? Well, if you're going to bow hunt, you'll probably need a bow. Dan fixes me up with a Matthews switchback, which he says is forgiving.
When you say forgiving in the archery world, it means that basically it's very low recoil, very easy to shoot. I promise you, when I'm done, you'll be shooting the X's out of the targets.
Ooh, I like
promise
that.
you.
I also get an arrow rest.
We're using a whisker biscuit arrow rest.
And a sight that takes full advantage of all the recent advances in technology. Man, this stuff is scary. Let's just say we've come a long way since the old school recurve bow days, I remember.
Here we got a 4-pin fiber optic sight, and this particular sight is going to work. It's going to be really bright, and you see it's actually got fiber optic. It wraps around, comes up the top here. That will do a super job as far as being able to see the pin and concentrating, putting the pin on the target.
There's also a little release device that works like a trigger. Something about repetition. I knew a little bit about that from my days of hitting and fielding practice. Do something the same long enough, and you can get good, fast.
The thing with archery is duplication is what you want. You want to make sure you do everything the same over and over again, or else the arrow's not going to go in the same spot. A release is going to allow you to do that, because now I want to fit the bow for you.
Okay.
I want to see how well it fits and see if I need to make any adjustments. The beautiful thing about bows these days is that I can take a bow and adjust it to you. We don't have to, we're not buying a bow and then having you shoot a bow just how it's set up. We're going to fit the bow for you to get you proper form to make you a better shot.
If I was going to be any kind of shot, I needed to take a few shots, that is. So we headed into A1's indoor range with hopes that my A game of archery, even if it was novice, would follow.
So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the line here, feet shoulder width apart, and stay nice and straight there, okay? Always keep the finger behind the trigger. The only reason that should ever come out is to fire.
I figured I was about ready to join the ranks of target shooting. But that kid, how tough could it be if an 8-year-old can do it? Holy smokes! Sharpshooting Stewie was really putting the pressure on. Finally, it was my turn.
Right on,
Close.
huh?
Close. Oh, I'm starting to jump around a little bit. That should be right.
All right, look at that. Yeah, it's right. We got a nice little group. It's a little bit low. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to move the pin a little bit low. Okay, that one was a little bit to the right. That's a good pattern, absolutely. Bullseye! Woohoo! Right there.
Centrally located.
Now, the most important thing that you did there was everything was consistent. Everything was the same. And because you did that, everything went right there. We'll shoot a little bit more, but it's just nice to get that first bullseye, you know?
Yeah, I hear that. You know, it was comfortable. I was afraid, not afraid, but the first time you shoot it, it's like a gun. You know, every time you ever shoots your first gun of the year or whatever, you always get that boom. But I was surprised at how comfortable it was. It seemed, with this, it seemed heavy.
Yeah.
But then after you shoot a little bit, you get used to it. All that was left was to take on the kid. I want to challenge Stuart. Are you shooting 20 yards? Yeah, you shoot at the 10 and I'll shoot at 20. I might have bit off a little more than I could chew here, I think. I don't want to be beat by an 8-year-old, but I just might be. After each firing 2 arrows, we still didn't have a winner.
We got to almost call it a tie.
It's a tie. Okay, we have to have a shoot-off. 1 arrow. It's a tie. First I tried a little gamesmanship. Look at your toe. It's over the line. Then I just accepted the inevitable. Oh, looks like money. You beat me by a ½ inch. Way to go, bud. Nice job. You beat me without your own bow. Isn't that nice? 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
I got 40 years on you. And you're beating me shooting a bow. Well, he might be 8, but he's been practicing for 6 years. And anyway, they say exhibition games don't mean a thing. It's what you do when the season starts that counts. Ooh, I like that one. We'll see how it goes as we head into the woods when we come back with more Ken Hrbek Outdoors. That's right where I was shooting. Plus, a little later in the show, Gissy introduces us to a Wisconsin hunter who's mastered the ancient Native American art of custom wingbone turkey calls. There's much to gobble about as this edition of KHO struts on.
Ken Hrbek Outdoors is brought to you by Mills Fleet Farm, proudly serving America's heartland since 1955. By Lund & Mercury, the official marine outfitter of Kent Hrbek Outdoors. By XL Energy, the #1 wind utility in the nation. By Loyal Premium Pet Food, loyal for a lifetime. And by Carrier, turn to the experts.
Before you head out deer hunting this year, you need to head in to Mills Fleet Farm. You can get your license at the customer service desk. And you can get a great deal on ammo. Choose from these Remington or Federal shells and get a $5 rebate when you buy a box. A $10 rebate when you buy 2. And you know where to find a lot of Blaze Orange. This Mountain Prairie Parka is waterproof and insulated. These bibs will keep you plenty warm too. And they both come in solid orange and orange branch. We're your hunting headquarters, Mills Fleet Farm.
It's happening in Minnesota's biggest factories, smallest auto repair shops, and every type of business in between. Smart managers are turning to energy efficiency programs from Excel Energy. Through rebates and sound advice on how to be more energy efficient and productive, they're saving thousands of dollars. And by using less energy, they're helping to save something priceless for us all. Call Excel Energy today. Imagine what you could save.
There's something to be said about loyalty.
Ready? Go get the ball.
Standing by our side, playing ball on our home field. And while some things change over the years, that one thing remains true.
Good boy.
It's one thing you can count on.
That's a good boy. Yeah, that's a good boy.
Loyal for a lifetime.
You know what? I still remember the first fish I caught in my first lug boat. It was 1948. I sure love that boat.
Not a lot has changed since Grandpa's first Lund. They're still the premier fishing boat in America. But now Lund has a sleek new line of fiberglass boats built with the same quality craftsmanship.
Yep, still looks like a Lund. You know it's got to be good.
Tired of unpredictable energy costs? We thought so. Here's a way to fight it. Hybrid heat from Carrier is a smart way to go. It's the heating and cooling system that lets you choose between electricity or gas. With hybrid heat, you get 2 great ways to heat and 1 great way to save. Turn to the experts. Get control over your energy costs with a hybrid heat system. Call 1-800-CARRIER today.
And now back to Kent Hrbek Outdoors.
We're back in Pepin County, Wisconsin, where I'm about to embark on my first ever bow hunt. It's well documented now that I'm all outfitted. The only thing they didn't give me was a deer. And now we're at the home of a transplanted Minnesotan by the name of Dirk Stark, who now makes his home in Pepin, Wisconsin. As you'll see later in the show, Dirk is a man of many talents. In a few minutes, we'll check out his turkey call business. But first, he's going to guide me on a Pepin County bow hunt for whitetail. I'm set it for 20.
Oh, there you go.
I gotta wait till he comes in. When he says, when the deer looks at me and says, "Hey, I'm 20," then I'm gonna shoot.
If he's 30, then you're gonna want to aim just a little bit high.
Okay. Albeit a tad on the soggy side, as you can see, this is definitely classic storybook countryside down here in southwest Wisconsin. An area well known and tailor-made for trophy bucks. But to get a crack at a big boy, first one must harvest a doe. In the Badger State, they call it their Earn a Buck program.
And I'll be right there. So anything you miss, I'll snipe.
I have to change my firearm program.
And I'll be right there. So anything you miss, I'll snipe.
I have to change my firearm mindset a bit. Because obviously when you're bow hunting, you've got to be pretty close to that deer before you shoot. Fortunately, Dirk is the master when it comes to rattling. A man-made attempt to simulate 2 bucks locking horns. But after quite a while of waiting, the only thing we seem to attract is a train. And the rain. But wait a minute. At long last, movement amongst a stand of oaks about, well, maybe 40 yards out. Upon further review, it's a couple of does meandering onto the scene. Perfect for my earn a buck scenario. But what I hadn't earned was a little luck. Because guess what? I'm not in a position to spin, draw, and fire. But someone is. And someone is my guide Dirk, who takes aim only to discover that his aim wasn't very good. A clean miss. Which in any kind of deer hunting is the best kind.
What a bummer.
Turns out Dirk had drawn his bow a little early and had gotten a little shaky while waiting for the deer to get closer.
What a bummer. I can't believe I blew it.
She looked and she was staring right at us.
I thought she winded us.
They were just a little nervous. They were looking at what was going on.
And then someone choked a couple times.
Well, I know, but you were drawn for so long that you just said you got a little shaky on it.
Yeah.
And I was asking the guys when I was getting sighted in this morning and I says, when do you make the draw? They said, well, if it's just coming out and you look at a spot. And they stopped on you, didn't they? Because if they'd have kept coming.
Well, I was hoping for double, that you'd take one and I would take one. So what do you think about your first time bow hunting?
It's deer hunting, first of all. You're getting up in the morning or else in the evening sitting waiting for a deer to walk by. Yeah, I love the art of deer hunting. I've done a lot of rifle hunting. Last few years I've done a lot of slug hunting, which is, getting closer to bow hunting. And I've always talked to people about bow hunting and never really got into it at the time, really. And these things are some weapons, you know what I'm saying? I shooting the thing the other day, getting sighted in by the guys at A1 there. It's a weapon. I'm surprised at how accurate and The game has changed since you started doing it.
You bet. I started with a recurve, good old Hoyt recurve, shooting 20 yards and thinking I was, incredible. And these things now are just, they still take practice. I shoot just about every day outside, but it sure makes it easier to get out, because that was the thing that with bow hunting, people always say it takes so much time, and I think it takes a lot of time to shoot, get practice, and get proficient, but it's also the time in the woods here. To me, when you are camoed out and animals are able to come in close to you, it is just to know that you have to be one with the tree or one with the ground is cool, because with the rifle or shotgun you can take something so far out, and with the bow it's all about a lot about your woodsmanship.
Are bow hunters a little bit like fly fishermen? Are you guys a little bit over the top?
I think that we get a little obsessive sometimes. I'll admit to that.
Maybe I should ask that question to your wife.
That would be a definite yes.
As you can see and hear, Dirk is definitely a detail guy, and not just in bow hunting. When KHO returns, Gissy shows us the true artist in our hunting guide, Dirk Stark, practicing his craft in the ancient Native American art of custom wing-bone turkey calls. Don't go anywhere. KHO is coming right back.
Hey folks, log on to KentHrbekOutdoors.com and click on KHO Snapshots to send in your photos from the woods or water.
Kent Hrbek Outdoors. Are you answering the call?
And now back to Kent Hrbek Outdoors.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We're headed back down to Pepin County, where we've been bow hunting with our guide, Dirk Stark.
Dirk admits he's one of those obsessive bow hunters, that's for sure. He pays a lot of attention to detail and is very picky about things. But picky isn't always a bad thing. That attention to detail has also made Dirk Stark one of the premier custom wingbone turkey call makers in the entire country.
See it? Oh, on the other side, yeah, on the far side of the ridge.
It's an absolutely positively gorgeous day in the rolling hills of Pepin County, Wisconsin. We're back in the very same acreage of our bow hunt, actually, only it's springtime, which around here means wild turkey time. Being out in the woods with Dirk Stark means you can hear just about anything. And the amazing thing is, it's all coming from the same person. To watch Dirk call a turkey is to watch a master at work, but that's only the half of it. Those turkey calls, he makes them himself, out of turkey wing bones. It's a craft born from Native American art and craftsmanship, and oh yeah, his love of the outdoors too.
About 15 years ago, I saw an article about it in Outdoor Life about making one, and I was making my own arrows, cedar arrows at the time, and thought this would be another great hands-on way for me to enjoy the outdoors. A lot of people say, when you go and call, they say, how do you blow it? And I have to laugh, and that's kind of the thing, is that you just suck on it, and so a lot of people would be blowing on it, and it doesn't work. So all you have to do is suck on it like just like you're smacking your lips.
It's not as easy as Dirk makes it look. My efforts were probably more likely to attract a dying quail than a wild turkey.
That's a real immature bird. Like a 3-day-old.
I'll lay off the call so I don't bust anything.
My calls started out just as a hobby for me, and I was able to use my artistic flair, I guess, if you will, to add something else to them, and to kind of a folk art that has turned into a great thing for me.
Since the turkeys seemed about as scarce as the whitetails in Herbie's bow hunt, Dirk and I head home and down to his laundry room, which looks like no other laundry room I've ever seen.
Most households have a laundry room, and yours is a bone factory of studio art.
It is. It's the workhouse, and it's a place to get inspired, and it's also a place for me to do a lot of work.
Is this where it started?
It has quickly expanded and to to my surprise.
Dirk individually crafts every one of his calls and as a result has quite a reputation in the field among both hunters and collectors. In fact, he's been recognized for his artistry nationally and has become something of a celebrity in the business.
So it is a very fine line. I want my calls to be out to a lot of people, but at the same time, it's hard to do that. But so I try to take steps to make sure that it still stays all in my hands and that people know that I make them.
Before I left, I wanted to give Dirk's turkey calls one more shot. Turns out I should have quit while I was ahead, or at least while I still had a shred of dignity.
You're sucking more than you are smacking.
Truer words have never been spoken. I think I'll leave the high-end turkey calling to the maestro who creates these magnificent instruments of the outdoors.
I want to do this thing with my hand and this thing with my mouth, and then if you ask me to chew gum, it'd be over. By the way, don't interrupt me. It's a master at work.
And now, another real moment from Rapala.